Hi, I'm Diane Worthington from Women Beyond a Certain Age. And Denise inspired me to think about some of the best bites, the most delicious dishes I can remember and that just are very memorable to me. One that just jumps out at me is the first time I ever went to London when I was going to attend the Cordon Bleu many, many years ago. And I had coquille Saint-Jacques Provençal, which are scallops that were sautéed in a very light tomato wine sauce. It's one of those dishes I'll never forget. It's like the surprise of the textures and the flavors. And, I can remember exactly where I was sitting. Amazing. Other things that just make me happy when I think about them. Unfortunately, I think it may be happening across the country, but now we have poke houses everywhere. Poke being raw fish that's marinated, some of which is better than others. But if you've had the opportunity to be in Hawaii, the fish, the poke, just never disappoints. It's fresh, clean. I even had a poke class last year at the Kapalua Montage that was so much fun, and we had every ingredient you could imagine that would go through. Another memory that is such a memory that we're going back to experience it again is a place called Le Cigale Recamier in Paris. The best in the world salted caramel souffle you will ever have in your life. It's a memory I literally can't get out of my mind. It was that good. It is a restaurant in Paris where you sit outside. There's an inside as well, but we sat on the terrace, and it's many things, but it has every kind of souffle you can imagine. And it's the way they do the souffles that is just light and high and airy and full of flavor. So, oh my gosh. I thought I knew what souffles were. I've made them. When I lived in Paris years ago, we went to a place called Le Soufflé on Rue Saint-Honoré, but not so much compared to Le Cigale, Cigale, Recamier, Recamier. If you're going to Paris, do not miss that. And then I love kind of down and dirty places like Soot Bull Jeep in Los Angeles, Koreatown, where the pork marinade on the strips of pork are spicy and slightly sweet. And the thing that makes Soot Bull Jeep such a special spot is that it's all done with wood. That's all the barbecues are wood-fired. So you're sitting kind of in a smoke pit. Whenever we go, we take our clothes, we call them smoking clothes, anything that we don't think is very special to wear, and then we immediately deposit it in the washing machine on the way home because it is so, your clothes you smell like you've smoked 20 cigarettes. But I'm very keen on Korean barbecue, and a lot of the banchi, the side dishes are good, like their sesame spinach, just kind of chopped up cooked spinach with sesame oil and sesame seeds. And then I think of places like going to a 5-star restaurant in Paris called Alain Ducasse, where you've never seen a cheese course like this, not to mention the bread, in a big silver dome. That is the pinnacle of fine dining. Not to mention the rest of the food, but I always remember the cheese course. And then in Barcelona, by the sea, there's a whole area where paella restaurants reign, and most of them are just amazing. And you have to be by the sea, and you're eating your paella, and it's got the fish with the rice that's just cooked perfectly, that La Bomba rice, and the spices. It's a thing, you know what I mean? It's just a thing that you don't forget. It's the whole experience. And I have to say, I'm not big on breakfast at home, but when we went to Turkey, I never saw breakfast like this in my life. They were over the top. One was like four rooms, I think. We're not talking small rooms, big rooms. One was at the Kempinski Hotel on the Bosphorus. Such a gorgeous property. And you go down for breakfast, and you start I mean, it just was endless. But the thing that was really incredible about it were the breads and the pastries, in addition to, the proteins and the fruits and the egg dishes and the waffle. I mean, it just was endless. The confiture, all the different jams and granola. And it went on forever. And there was a woman, when we went to Bodrum, which was on the sea in Turkey, we stayed at another Kempinski at Bodrum. And there was a woman sitting on the floor baking bread in a hearth at breakfast. And it was another one of these things where it was 4 rooms of the most incredible array of possibilities that you could imagine. But the breads are just worth getting a ticket and going tomorrow. There was a place in Paris where I had the best little chocolate mousse, which I just looked up today, and it doesn't look like they have it anymore, called La Durée. And one other place, if you're going to Paris, you got to go to the falafel joint on Rue Rosier. Oh, my God. See, I can't even speak. I'm so, excited about it. You stand in line, and you get falafel, and then you pick different toppings and whatever, and it's just a whole scene. It's the best falafel I've certainly ever enjoyed. Recently, we were in South Africa, and this is a funny story. We went to a Stellenbosch winery called Boschendal, and we had lunch there. And I've eaten a potato or two. I wrote a whole book on potatoes. But I had never tasted potatoes like this. I was so excited I was going to write it for my column. And then I met the chef, and I said, you got to give me your recipe. Beef tallow. It's like the fat from the beef. I was trying to figure out how much cholesterol would happen to me after I already had eaten the 3 potatoes. I decided I wasn't going to do the recipe, and I would have this as a taste memory forever. I've never tasted a potato. And then they fried them in it after they cooked them first. Taste memories are such a part of who we are. I continue to think about places I've been and places I want to go and experience other taste memories. I hope you guys will do that as well and pay attention when something hits you. Those are just some of my faves. Well, 1 or 2 other spots I can't not mention. The best granola, this is really funny, is from the safari camp I stayed in South Africa. I said, wait a second. California started granola in the 60s, and I'm eating the best granola? Well, yes, in fact, it's made with honey and butter, so why wouldn't it be the best granola? It wasn't the light version, but it was just the crispiest. It was like caramelization granola. So that was at the Royal Malwane in Kruger, right outside of Kruger Park in South Africa. And lastly, I was thinking about when I went to a place called Tickets in Barcelona, and it was the modernist food, and everything was made into different dishes. Like they had watermelon that was made into tomatoes. It was just, you just don't forget these things. So I hope it'll take you a moment to think about your memories and what really makes you just happy. It's just happy when you think about all these things. So that's a few of my memories. But I want to remind you to subscribe to our podcast, to give us a review, or write us at womenbeyond@icloud.com. Thanks for listening.